Hello everyone! A couple of you have requested if I could make a video showing you exactly what it is that I do. How I make my videos, what process is there behind it, what other stuff do I do besides just making the videos. And I know that I promised to make this quite some time ago. I think it was around Christmas that I was talking about this video. But you know, things came up, I finally found some time to do it and make the video. Keep in mind though, that this won't be a tutorial as to how can you make videos. There are plenty of tutorials that you can find on YouTube. This is just to give you an impression what goes into making my videos, and it might be the most boring video ever made, or it might be very interesting. Who knows? I'm sure that we'll find out, so let's begin and see how far we can go. For the channel I make different kind of videos, but the main thing that I do is the lore video on Monday, but even those videos they have different processes depending on the type of video. Let's start with the one that I make the most. It's the story of videos, the story of a character, the story of a zone. It's a story based on a certain point of view. The first step in the process is to decide what story do I want to tell. Sometimes I'll tell a story because it's the current holiday within WoW, like the story of the Headless Horseman. That one was because it was the event going on in-game. At other times, I'll make a video because it's current content, while other times it's because people requested it or I simply felt like telling the story. There's usually a reason behind it, although sometimes the reason is not always clear. Now once I've decided what topic to pick, I sit down and I write a script for myself. I always work with scripts, because the last time that I freestyled it, this was during the Feather More Destroyed video, I ended up repeating myself a couple of times, I went off topic, I started talking about the Alliance versus Horde conflict. That was not what the video was about. That was not the story I was trying to tell. Certain information was just wrong or not complete, so I always want to avoid that. A script helps me to stay in line, and it gives the chance to make sure that my facts and information is accurate. I still make mistakes from time to time, don't get me wrong, but you know, where people work, mistakes are made, but I try to learn from it each time, and I'm very happy when people point out like, hey, that's not how it happened, this is what happened. I search it up, I look it up, I check for myself, and I try to learn from it. The time that I spend on a script, it depends on how much I already know about the story, how big the story is, and how much research I need to do. I can tell you from the top of my head pretty much the global storyline of all the stories in Warcraft, since I've read all the novels, I've nearly read all of the comics, I've played all the expansions, I keep up to date with any new lore that's released, so the basic information is inside my mind. Sometimes the details of a certain story are unfamiliar, and in that case I'll make sure to fact check myself and I'll add it to the storyline. If we take the story of Sylvanas, for example, her story was so big that I had to make certain choices about what parts I wanted to tell. I made a couple of notes for myself before even beginning to write the script. So, for example, the notes would be her origin story, the battle against Arthas, turns into a Banshee, taking the control of the Banshee Queen, Wrath the Lich King events, after Wrath the Lich King, and possible speculation on what Blizzard might do with her storyline. Those were the key items that I wanted to tell during her video, so I wrote out the story for myself, I made sure that the information was accurate, that everything that I wanted to tell was in there, and I moved on to the next step. The next step is very simple. It's what I'm doing right now as I'm making this voiceover. It's just sitting down behind my desk and I'm telling you the story. English is not my first language. I'm Dutch, so yeah, sometimes I'll mispronounce words or I'll have to do a double take. But overall, it's just trying to tell the story with the passion that I feel for the lore. I truly love being able to talk about the story behind Warcraft, and I really hope that it shows while watching and listening to the videos. Otherwise, there's no point. If I wouldn't find this any fun, then I shouldn't be doing it. Once the voiceover is done, it's time to clean it up, because like I said, sometimes you'll mispronounce things, or sometimes I'll have like a little cough in between, or a burp, or my phone go off, or sometimes, and this is just the way that it is, when you turn on a microphone, the world gets 10 times louder. Sometimes airplanes will start flying over your house on purpose, or the neighbor's dog will start barking, or children will start crying outside. The world, it knows that you're trying to do a voiceover, and it simply won't let you. I don't know if other content creators know this problem. For me, whenever I turn on my voiceover, usually the world gets a lot louder, and it's pretty damn annoying. Naturally, I can't let those moments end up in the video, so I cut out any airplanes, I cut out any dog barking, any deep breaths, any coughs, any snorts, any telephones going off. I delete all of that, I put it all back together, and that's my most boring part done. I really don't like this part of the editing, but it's part of the work. So once that boring part is done, thankfully the next part is a lot more fun. With the voiceover done, I start to record my canvas, as I call it. I make a list of areas that show up in the video, and I start searching inside of World of Warcraft to record those areas and make them my backgrounds. I like to keep it accurate, so for example, if I'm talking about Thrall destroying Durnhold, then I want to actually go to the destroyed Durnhold and record that area. Sometimes it's not so simple though. Some areas never made it into the game, or some areas are simply left up to your imagination. An example would be Ner'zhul appearing in front of Kil'jaeden and Kil'jaeden tearing his soul apart. What area could possibly look like that within World of Warcraft? Well, maybe it could be the sky during the Elgalon fight, or maybe it's the dark space area in the Caverns of Time. I'll make those little notes, I'll turn on the camera, and I'll record my backgrounds. I also make sure to record any events that have a voiceover, because I'll need those ready for the next step. And the next step is lining up my voice with any voice acting from the cinematics or whatnot. I want to add all of that, I want to make sure that it's all lined up, that it sounds properly, and of course, I'm adding the background that I recorded. With all of that done, it's time for the final touches, and that makes it sound like it's a small job, like we're at the end of the road, it's only a couple more minutes, but it's actually the biggest and the most fun part of it all. It's adding of pictures, it's recording models, it's adding all the little details to make the story come to life. Sometimes happy little accidents will happen while editing, like in one video, Gul'dan's spikes, they lined up perfectly with the spikes in the background, but it was purely by accident. I didn't put this in on purpose, and it was later pointed out by the viewers. At other times, I'll put in little Easter eggs, like during the Deathwing cinematic where he was constantly going like, "It is mine, mine, mine," and I added the little mine seagull from Finding Nemo, I believe. You know, those little Easter eggs, you can add those, you can play around with it, and I find a lot of fun. All these pictures and all the little details that you see, they are added by hand. They don't just magically pop up in the right place. You need to add them to the video, you need to put them in the right place, you need to change their size or whatnot, and everything needs to be looking alright. With that last step done, it's time to render the video, and this is an automatic process, although it is very time consuming. It's basically the program, it takes all the little files into one video file, which you can upload to YouTube. You add a title, you add a description, a couple of keywords. I'm also busy with adding subtitles because this has been requested. I set it all ready to be released on Monday at midnight, my time, and then it's simply waiting to see how everybody's going to respond to the video. I usually sit up like an hour after midnight, just refreshing new videos to see what you all think of it. I'm keeping a close eye on that like and dislike bar. I'm reading comments of people being first, and no, they're not first since I'm here first. All that good stuff. I love that moment. It's always very excited. I usually count on around 10, maybe 20 dislikes standard on any video that I do, but for me, it's still a good tool to see like what's the overall response to a video, and just to see the comments and shares and people appreciating your work, you know? You do it because you hope that people will appreciate it and people will watch it. That's the best part in my opinion. And then, you know, the next day when you wake up, the cycle repeats. You pick a topic, you write a script, you do the voiceover, you start recording, editing, uploading, release, and repeat again. That's the process behind the lore videos. Now that's just behind one type of lore video, but I also do Q&As, and the process behind the Q&As is a little bit different. The script, it's not entirely decided by me, it's decided by you. I check for questions in the comment section under the latest Q&A, and I have a fair few questions sent in over at ask.fm. I usually take around 10 to 15 questions that might be interesting for everybody to hear, while also answering questions that are short or that I've answered in the past. Then I'll quickly leave a reply to people, or I'll link them to a previous Q&A. You know, I make sure that they get some sort of response out of me. With my selection, I start writing my script, and considering that my lore videos, I usually keep the standard of 15 to 30 minutes. That's the average time of my video. Sometimes it's a little bit more than that. Usually it's not really shorter, it's usually a solid 15 to 30 minutes. And I did this because during the time that I started making these videos, you also had a series called Lore for Noobs, which were videos by Pride, great videos to get you introduced into the lore of Warcraft. When I was watching these videos, I got really excited about the lore, and I started reading the novels, and I was like, oh, there's so many more details that you could tell in a video. There's so many more details that I didn't know about. So my goal was to get as many details into a video as I could, and considering that they were already doing the small videos, I decided like, okay, if I'm going to tell a story, it's at least 10 to 15 minutes, and if it's up to 30, fine. Beyond that, I'll make it a two-parter. Anyways, I usually end up with like 5 questions on the list. The amount of research in the Q&A scripts, it's a lot lot more, since I don't always have all the answers that you're looking for. I can't always immediately answer the questions, and of course those are the questions that I find most interesting. Those are the questions that I don't even know the answer to, and I'm like, oh, well, if I don't know this, maybe other people could learn from it as well. And yeah, I think that's just brilliant. Some questions that I never thought about. Some questions is just a repeat of old lore that I completely forgot about. And I was like, this is so cool. I really, really like the questions that are sent in. So yeah, the Q&As are also a great tool for me to keep my information fresh. Now with the script done, I go into the recording of the voiceover, very similar to the other lore videos. The next steps as well, it's cutting up the voice, it's doing the background, it's adding the questions, you know, it's pretty much the same as my other lore videos, except that I've decided to keep the editing, the final step in the Q&As, I decided to keep that light. The reason behind this is when I started with the Q&A videos, I needed a type of video to break up the routine of all the other lore videos, since I was stretching for time. I forgot to mention, with the other lore videos, it takes me around 48 to 72 working hours to make one single lore video. So there's quite some time that it's a minimum of 3 full days that you're putting into a lore video. So I needed something to break up that routine, to buy myself some time. So the Q&A editing, I kept it light on purpose. The rest is all the same. Information up to snuff, script, voiceover, rendering, uploading, releasing, and repeats. There's one more type of lore video that I make, which are the top 10 lore videos, but I haven't done enough of them to really have a process behind it. I think you got a pretty good picture as to how I make my videos though, and I work on a weekly basis with the lore videos. I don't really have anything stored, they just take way too much time to make, but I'm working hard on fixing that problem, especially with BlizzCon coming up. I want to get a couple of videos ready, say that I get sick, or say that I don't have time in that week. I just want something to be ready that I can release as a little bonus or filler. So I'm working hard on that. To get it up to snuff, especially also with BlizzCon, like I mentioned. At the end of the year, I'm gonna go to BlizzCon in November. I'll be gone for like a week or two. I want to make sure that you guys are still entertained, and I want to make sure that there are videos ready for you. Like I said, don't step away from the script. When I start freestyling, I start rambling. Besides the lore videos, I also upload Let's Plays in between, and the Let's Play videos, they're a lot less work when it comes to editing, since I simply don't edit them. What you see is what we recorded, unless there are really the parts that we took a break in or parts that need to be cut out. Otherwise, it's just what we did, you get to see it. Keep in mind that I'm not a representation of other YouTubers. This is just my work process. I've seen a lot of Let's Plays that do have a lot of editing, but that's just simply not my style. I always figured that I enjoy playing video games, I enjoy entertaining you, and those that like to watch it get a chance to watch me play. I always kept in mind, like, I grew up with a bigger brother, right? And I knew what it was like to sit next to my bigger brother and watch him play the game and just be amazed at what he was doing. I think Let's Plays are a very similar thing to that. The same with streaming on Twitch, what I'll get to later. That's my mindset when it comes to the Let's Plays. You guys are sitting on my couch, like 10,000 of you are sitting on the couch, and we're all playing one game, we're all sharing an interest, and we're all having a good time. That's pretty much the mindset when it comes to my Let's Plays. And for those that don't enjoy sitting on my couch, they can simply ignore the Let's Play videos, and they'll get their entertainment on Monday. I've always made sure that Monday is my lore day, and I've always made sure to keep those people that are subscribed specifically for the lore videos, they're entertained, and the Let's Plays, they're extra. Now what I found the hardest part to do with the Let's Plays, it's not the editing, but it is to be entertaining while playing a video game. I always thought that it looks so easy, but you can try it for yourself. Just try to play a video game, constantly talk while playing, try to be entertaining while playing that game. I found it to be pretty damn difficult. Sometimes when you play a game, you just go into your own mind, right? And you're just sitting there and you're playing your game and you're thinking to yourself like, damn, I need to say something now. What can I say to be entertaining? I thought that was really difficult. Came as a surprise to me, but it was still a whole lot of fun. And thankfully, I have Fury backing me up during the WoW Let's Play on Friday. So you have someone to interact with, makes it a whole lot easier. So like I said, the recording bit is the most difficult bit in my opinion. After that, it's cutting up the episodes into individual episodes. You render them, upload them, setting them to be released, and that's it. That's pretty much what I do with the YouTube videos. Now, of course, from time to time, you'll have a special video pop up like this one, or a short story that I released on a WoW website, or a patch 6.2 spoiler video. But overall, this is my work process. Besides making videos, I've also started streaming over at Twitch. And man, do I love streaming, everybody. I love being able to directly interact with you guys and girls, hang out with you, answer questions. We've done a couple of raids throughout the past. We, have a lot of fun, take selfies, interact with each other, and simply act like a dumbass. I've had so much fun with it, and I truly wish I had more time to stream. Maybe in the future I'll get some more time freed up, maybe we'll have some more to stream. But for now, I stream at least once a week, sometimes more. I wish I could do more. It's just so much fun. I can understand why so many people want to be a streamer. It's just, you sit here, you got the camera on you, you got the chat room next to you, and it's very similar to the Let's Play mentality, right? We're sitting all on the same couch and we're all playing a game here, answering questions, got some music in the background, chilling. It's just a lot of fun. Next to streaming, my activities include keeping up with the comments on YouTube. I reply to messages on Facebook, which I usually get around 50 to 100 private messages a week. I reply to those. I tweet with people on Twitter. I keep up with websites like MMO Champion, the WoW forums. I make sure to keep reading the novels and read the short stories that are released. I make sure to keep my characters leveled up and up to the current content within the game. And then, of course, there's my real life that I try to keep up with. All in all, it's a full job. It's running your own company. And even though it takes a lot of work, a lot of time, a lot of effort, don't be fooled by people saying, like, you need to get a real job. Side note, I even had my own mother telling me that I should get a real job. The amount of time that goes into it is double of a real job. This is no 9-to-5 thing that we're doing here. It's a work of passion and it's a work of love. And sometimes you don't get the reward for it, and sometimes you do. And, I'm very, very happy that you guys and girls, I can't thank you enough for it. I do it at the end of every video. You've given me this opportunity to do what I love doing. Talk about WoW lore, entertain you, tell stories, It's a fantastic thing and I can't thank you enough for it. I got a couple of projects and things in mind that might come in the future. As an additional thing to the channel, I'm maybe going to do something with Game of Thrones characters in like a minute, maybe. Maybe do a little thing called RP My Character, where I tell stories behind RP characters. Might come in the future. But for now, I think I've been going on for long enough. Time will tell what we're gonna do with the channel. Those are just things that are floating around in my mind. I hope you enjoyed this little look inside the kitchen. And until next time, guys. See ya!